If you travel M94 through Chatham, you may have noticed the Michigan State University Upper Peninsula Research and Education Center's herd of cattle. Local 3's Msu Extension tells us about what the livestock have helped them learn.
Around 350 Red Angus beef cattle are raised for meat at the MSU Extension's farm. James DeDecker, director of MSU UPREC, says the cows only eat grass and forages produced at the farm.
It also means in our case that they are actually outdoors 365 days a year. So they don't come into the barn at night or in the winter. And so in the summer, this time of year, they're out grazing on pasture, and we do what's called rotational grazing, meaning that we're moving them from paddock to paddock in the pasture, depending on how much forage is available there and how much they've eaten, and then they'll rotate usually every day or every other day, so they spend pretty short time in each paddock.
In the winter, they use hay grown on the farm to feed the herd. The bales are unrolled on the pasture for the cows to eat.
It allows them to continue depositing their manure around the farm, which helps to cycle nutrients and also reduce our input costs as far as fertilizer and things would go, and management costs of, if we had to move manure out of the barn back to the fields, like it'd be more normal in a dairy type operation or a confinement operation. And then also that waste hay gets deposited, so we're improving soil, building soil organic matter, and so forth in the process.
One strategy they've implemented with their herd is calving in the fall rather than the spring, which is more typical.
When you are grass finishing, it takes longer to get the cattle to harvest weight because they're eating a less nutrient dense product in the forage compared to grain. So what we were finding is when we were doing spring calving, which is pretty normal for cattle operations, when it came time to finish those cattle, it was at a time of year when we had less forage available, and so it was harder to get them to size. So what we started doing is breeding at a different time of year to have our calves in the fall. And that's a practice that we've seen some folks in the Upper Peninsula adopt.
One of the other things they are working on is crossing the Red Angus cows with other breeds to see how it changes the finished product. DeDecker says one of the types they are crossing their cattle with is Akiyushi. The intent is to have the meat grade higher and get them to market size sooner. Reporting in Chatham, Melissa Venix, Local 3 News.